Okay, go ahead, thanks.
All right, we will call the meeting to order. Roll call first, so we'll start with that. Zhenya,
Present.
David,
Present.
and Charlie is present, and that gives us a quorum. So we'll move on from there. Motion to approve the minutes of the June 11th meeting.
I'm seconded.
All
You
right.
have to move it first.
Oh,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
no, second.
Okay, all in favor? Great. Is there any new business before the board other than these upcoming public hearings?
Hmm.
Not that I know of. All right, we'll move on to the public hearings. I think we're gonna need your help on this one.
Sure. I think if you want to introduce them by reading like number 1 in the memo.
Sure, just read them out.
Yep.
Okay. All right, we were going over some proposed amendments. First is the proposed amendment to the zoning ordinance. The planning board will host the statutorily, we're doing that, required public hearing on proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance, chapter 402, to provide clarity and legal updates. Any comments?
Nope.
Okay.
Did you want a summary or I'm gonna present those or run through them if you want?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is-
Just take the summary.
I don't see anybody online.
Is there anybody?
I read through these, so
All right.
I think we're okay with it.
Okay, then we can save your time and we'll move on. Is there the second item? Planning board hosts the statutorily required public hearing on proposed amendments to the subdivision ordinance, chapter 401, to provide clarity and legal updates. Are there any comments? Okay. Planning board, item 3, will host statutorily required public hearing on proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance, chapter 402, section 7.9, regarding accessory dwelling units. Are there any comments? Yes,
I have no comment.
let's go.
I would,
Did you
if
want
I may, this
Sure.
is the only piece that is related to the new density laws for LD 1829. And this was asking the council and the town if they would like to implement it 1 year early, because you will have to do it next July. But we had some people who were expecting it this July and had already started projects in their home. So this would allow people with a duplex or a 3-unit to add their ADU as they planned on doing, 1 year earlier than the town will have to allow it. And the council did support this in first read.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Any other comments on the board or anything? Okay.
No comments.
Great. Item 4, planning board will host the statutory required public hearing, which we're doing, on the proposed repeal of the growth management ordinance, chapter 409. I think I would like you to explain that one.
Review? Yep.
Yes.
So the council passed a growth management ordinance this spring that went into effect on July 1. And this allows only X amount of permits to go out for new dwelling units in each zoning district. And they're all a little bit different, the numbers, like per the zoning district. And there are several exceptions to that as well, accessory dwelling units, affordable housing, things like that. That's all outlined in the growth ordinance. Part of the reason that it was put into effect was because we were expecting the state law to allow some very significant density of 5,000 square foot lots if you were to build your own engineered septic system. And that provision has been removed from the state law and will not be part of that as part of the fix bill. So that issue that the town was concerned with is no longer an issue. So the staff had brought it back to council to say, do you want to keep it or do you want to get rid of it? The council at their meeting on August 4 did vote and express that they do want to keep it in place, that they're not in favor of a repeal, and they want to keep the growth management to limit the number of new dwelling units per fiscal year. There is some interest in amending that ordinance as well, which would come, we're looking at probably September, with some amendments to maybe.
Those would come before this board.
Yes, they would. Yep, that is an ordinance change that would come before you as well. When the time comes, there was interest in potentially grandfathering approved subdivisions that were approved prior to implementation, and potentially increasing the number that each developer could get in a fiscal year. So that'll be part of those discussions. But that's separate from this repeal question. The repeal was voted down, so the town council does want to keep the growth ordinance in place. So if you have any comment for them,
So the growth, yes, the growth ordinance is gonna severely limit number of units going in, which is gonna make it harder to put affordable housing
to put what?
in, affordable housing in.
Affordable housing is exempted.
Understand that, but still, it just limits the, so people shopping for houses, limits their ability to go shopping in Gray for houses, which is fairly close to Portland.
Yeah, is there something in particular you want to tell council you have a concern with it limiting, like, ability to build here?
Yes.
For new homes?
Yes. Totally against growth ordinance.
Okay.
Jenny, any comment?
I don't see any reason for it to. There is no reason like to limit it. I don't see it.
The housing market will limit it. This is
It's
just a
not-
regulation.
It's not only that, like it's a tax base too. Like we are limiting actual tax base,
Yes.
which I'm against that.
Okay, so noted that Jenny and David would have supported repeal.
In favor of repeal, yep.
And then we will review the proposed amendments when they come in front of the board.
Yes.
All right, and then item 5, the planning board is hosting the statutorily required public hearing on adoption of a proposed data center moratorium. I understand the council voted unanimously on that, is that correct?
Yes, the moratorium on data centers was presented. There was state law where the state had the opportunity to put a ban on them or restrictions on them statewide, and that was rejected at the state level. So our Council of Governments for the county did have draft language for each town to consider should the town want to take it upon themselves to do a moratorium. And Gray is one of the towns where we do not have a definition of data center. We do not have any performance standards for a data center. So the council is in support of putting the moratorium in place to allow the town time to come up with language around how the town wants to handle those should a proposal come forward.
And who develops that language for the town?
Typically, that would come from my office. We would do a draft, and then it needs to get workshopped with council, and then go to all the public hearings and get public input. We need water district input. It's got to be a process. So the initial one is 180 days. It may need to be extended, but that's the process. I am already starting to work on digging up language and what would be appropriate for some potential standards for the town to consider.
I would like, just my opinion, that the town council, if they're gonna do this moratorium, that they appoint, maybe a ad hoc committee or something, or maybe they have assign you to do this and give you a target date to get it done, so that we do this moratorium. I'm not against data centers. I've done some, since I was on the council, not on the council, but when I was running for council, and they asked me a question about the data centers, I was not as prepared as I am today. So data centers are a good thing for us and for the country. Maybe they're not in the right location for Gray, but maybe it is. But I think that data centers are very good for the country. And so I'm not opposed to them. But I do like that we're gonna go through and do some analysis and figure out what they do require. And if it's gonna be a big drain on the town, maybe we don't do it here. But I just would like to have them make sure that this process is followed through, so that we find out that we get this done in an
Yep.
appropriate amount of time.
Okay.
Well, I don't see that this town have capacity to maintain data center. We have no water here. There's water shortage already, like in some towns, like in Maine. And like cooling capacity, like you need tremendous amount of water, cooling water for data centers.
How much? How much?
It's tremendous amounts.
What's tremendous?
Well, I'll say just a small example. Let's take On in South Portland. Just cooling water, 1 million gallons a day. So at the temperature of like 80 degrees, coming in as like almost, but it will be like 52, like
So they
up
pull,
to 80.
they pull a
It's a
million gallons?
pollution, it's a heat pollution, it will kill everything in the waters.
Well, that's the data that, I agree that that's the data that we need.
I just add I strongly support the moratorium. And I'm extremely skeptical of any any data center development, but happy to see guidelines for what would make one acceptable for the town.
Okay.
All right. There is no public present, is no public online, so I don't think there's any other comment. Which, believe it or not, leads us to adjournment. If anyone wants to make a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Then we are
All in favor?
all in favor. We
All
are
right.
adjourned.
That was
Pleasure, bud.
good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.